You almost did not come tonight. It has been a long week, and staying home sounded much easier than walking into a room full of people you barely know. But your friend Sarah convinced you to come to her birthday dinner. You tell yourself that you will stay for 1 hour and then quietly leave. The restaurant is warm, crowded, and louder than you expected. People are laughing, glasses are clinking, and everyone seems to already know someone. You spot Sarah across the room and immediately feel a little better. She waves, walks over, and gives you a quick hug. Then she turns and introduces you to a woman standing beside her. Her name is Emma. You both smile and say that it is nice to meet each other. Before you can think of what to say next, Sarah gets called away by another guest. Now it is just you and Emma. For 2 seconds, neither of you says anything. Those 2 seconds feel much longer than they really are. You can hear the music, the people talking behind you, and your own brain trying very hard to find a sentence. This is the exact moment many English learners fear. You know plenty of English, but suddenly none of it wants to come out. Then you remember one simple question. How do you know everyone here? Emma smiles like she is relieved that you said something first. She says that she actually only knows Sarah. They used to work together a few years ago. Now you have something to work with. This is the first conversation skill to remember. Do not search your memory for a random topic. Use the situation you are already sharing. At a party, ask how someone knows the host. At a class, ask what brought them there. At a conference, ask what they thought of the talk. The easiest conversation starter is often already in the room. Emma tells you that she and Sarah used to work at a small marketing company. You could change the subject, but instead you stay with what she just said. What do you do for work? Emma says that she is a photographer now. She mostly takes portraits and photos for small businesses. You are about to say cool and stop there. But then you remember something important. A good conversation is not a list of unrelated questions. It is one answer creating the next question. So instead of jumping to a completely new topic, you follow the details she just gave you. How did you get into that? Emma pauses for a moment and then tells you the story. She bought a used camera before a trip because she wanted better photos. She expected it to be a hobby. Then friends started asking her to take pictures for them. One small job led to another. Eventually, she left marketing and started working for herself. Now the conversation feels completely different. A minute ago, you were two strangers trying to avoid an awkward silence. Now Emma is telling you how she changed her career. This is the second conversation skill to remember. When someone gives you an interesting detail, do not rush past it. Pick one detail and follow it. Listen, choose, and follow up. That simple pattern can keep a conversation going much longer than memorizing 20 questions. You tell Emma that changing careers must have been a big decision. She laughs and says that it was exciting and terrifying at the same time. You both smile. The conversation is starting to feel easier. After a while, you decide to move away from work. What do you like to do outside of work? Emma says that she loves hiking whenever she gets the chance. That catches your attention because you like hiking too. You could immediately ask another question, but this time you do something different. You share a little bit about yourself. You tell her that you started hiking more last year. Emma asks where you usually go. Now she is asking you questions too. This is the third conversation skill to remember. Do not turn a conversation into an interview. If you only ask questions, the other person may feel like they are being interviewed. A natural conversation has a rhythm. Ask something, react to the answer, share a little, and then follow up. Question, reaction, sharing, and follow up. That rhythm makes both people part of the conversation. Emma mentions a trail outside the city that you have never tried. She says the view at the top is amazing. That sounds really interesting. You are not saying it just to fill the silence. You actually mean it, and Emma can hear that in your voice. She starts telling you about the last time she went there. Halfway up the trail, it started raining. She and her friend hid under a tiny shelter with 3 other hikers and a very wet dog. You laugh because now you can picture the whole scene. This is another useful thing to notice. Small reactions matter. That sounds really interesting. Tell someone that their story landed with you. So do phrases like that is funny? No way. And that makes sense. You do not always need another question immediately. Sometimes a good reaction is what keeps the other person talking. A server walks by with a tray of drinks. Emma takes one and asks if you want anything. You say that you are fine for now. Then Sarah finally returns. She looks at the two of you and jokes that she was worried you would have nothing to talk about. Emma laughs and says that you have already planned a hiking trip. You laugh too. You realize something surprising. You are no longer thinking about your English. You are just having a conversation. A little later, Emma sees someone she needs to speak with before they leave. The conversation is naturally coming to an end. This is another moment that can feel awkward if you do not know what to say. But you do not need a complicated goodbye. It was really nice talking to you. Emma says the same and tells you that maybe Sarah can connect you later. You both smile and head in different directions. That is it. No perfect English. No clever performance. No list of 20 memorized questions. Just 6 useful phrases and a few simple conversation habits. Now, let us look at what actually made the conversation work. The phrase, "How do you know everyone here?" helped you start with the situation around you. The phrase, "What do you do for work?" opened a new topic without feeling too personal. The phrase, "How did you get into that?" helped you follow one interesting detail instead of jumping away. The phrase, "What do you like to do outside of work?" helped you discover something you had in common. The phrase, "That sounds really interesting," showed Emma that you were genuinely listening. The phrase, "It was really nice talking to you," helped you end the conversation warmly and naturally. But the bigger lesson is not just the 6 phrases. You learn to use the situation instead of searching for a random topic. You learn to build your next question from the other person's last answer. You learn to share something about yourself so the conversation does not feel like an interview. And you learn that small reactions can be just as important as good questions. That is what makes first conversations feel natural. You are not trying to impress someone with perfect English. You are showing curiosity, listening for details, and giving the other person something to respond to. The next time you meet someone new, you do not need to plan the whole conversation in advance. You only need one good sentence to get started. Then listen to the answer and let the next sentence come from there. If this story felt familiar, come back and listen again until the 6 phrases start to feel automatic. The goal is not to memorize a script. The goal is to make real conversation feel a little easier every time. If you would like more practical English and real conversation skills like this, stick around and subscribe. See you in the next episode.